go. And it looked like Kelsey Mitchell is in some serious hot water yet again. Guys, for this one here.
Section 1 Kelsey Mitchell figured it was the right move to toss out a little shade alongside her team. The line, "we all we need," got picked up instantly, and fans caught on to every syllable. Now the question is, will she regret saying it, now that Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham's names are tied into the conversation? So what do you think? Was Kelsey simply trying to hype up her squad, or did she cross the line into outright disrespect? Mitchell has been part of the Indiana Fever long before the team became a trending topic. She endured the losing years, the empty arenas, and the seasons when nobody really cared what the Fever were doing. For that dedication, she deserves recognition, but here's the issue. Just because you've been the longest-serving player doesn't mean you can say whatever you want without any fallout. And that's exactly what unfolded when Kelsey echoed her phrase, "We all we got. We all we need."
She's been here for the good, the bad, the ugly, and pretty much ever since the team been trash. Now, ever since Caitlin has got to the team, ever since Caitlin has joined the team, the Indiana Fever has grown notoriety across the world. They is the hottest WNBA team in the country and pretty much one of the biggest teams in all of sports. With all of that being said, Kelsey Mitchell has been taking it upon herself to kind of say little things and
the surface. It seems like the kind of basic locker room slogan that teams throw around all the time. The context is what changes everything. Mitchell admitted that this mantra took root when Caitlin Clark went down with her injury. And that's where things get complicated.
Kelsey, one of your teammates said yesterday that you started saying in the huddles, we're all we got, we all we need.
Yeah, I said we all we got, we all we need, yeah.
How did that kind of come about? And do you remember when you started sharing that message?
Probably, it might have been after somebody got hurt. I won't even lie to you. It was early on. I think it was when CC got hurt, and I felt like it was deflating. It was hard for people to kind of see us and see our energy for what we brought to the table as a team. Hats off to CC for being a great teammate and having to go through so much with injury. But like the all we got, all we need was it's a staple to who we trying to be as a team and who we want our culture to be. We can't help the ones that's not here, which is unfortunate, but we can help who is. And be present about that and not disrespect the game because I would like to think that CC Aries said would want to play and be in our shoes. And so I think the all we got, all we need is just it's kind of like a respect thing, but to put it in the air that we all we got and we all we need because...
Think carefully about what that statement really suggests. When Clark was sidelined, instead of rallying behind her injured teammate and the face of the franchise, Mitchell's cry came off as, "She's out, but we're fine without her." Maybe Kelsey didn't mean it that way, but that's exactly how it sounded to fans. And once those words are out in the open, you don't get to control how people interpret the message.
I don't know if she's dissing Caitlin Clark, but a lot of people is insinuating that. Now, we have seen time and time again members of her family even take shots at Caitlin Clark. Now, those are facts.
Section for this isn't the first time the Mitchell family has been tangled up in drama connected to Clark. A few months ago, her relatives were online tossing shade at Caitlin, firing off tweets, comments, and sly digs. Fans caught onto that, and now, with Kelsey herself repeating this mantra tied directly to Clark's absence, people are connecting the dots, and they're not drawing them in her favor. The irony is that without Caitlin Clark, the Fever wouldn't even be in the national spotlight. Mitchell has been putting up points for years, but those performances didn't trend on social media. They didn't earn ESPN highlights or pack arenas. Clark's arrival changed the entire trajectory. The Fever became one of the most talked about teams in the WNBA, not because of their record, but because Clark is the player fans show up to see. And then there's Sophie Cunningham. Her name gets pulled into the mix because fans recognize a pattern. Mitchell isn't only shading Clark. She has also taken shots at other players who bring attention to the league. Sophie, for instance, has plenty of critics, but she's embraced her reputation as a lightning rod. She's unapologetic, physical, and consistently in the headlines. Sound familiar? That's because Caitlin Clark is in a similar position, adored by some, disliked by others, but always the center of the conversation. So, when Mitchell's words come across as dismissive of Clark, fans end up grouping Sophie in as well. Since both women take heat for being the faces of their moment, Cunningham has faced rough play, online backlash, and endless debates about her demeanor. And instead of backing her up, fellow players sometimes throw shade her way. Now, Mitchell is facing the same critique, tearing down instead of lifting up.
Kelsey, through all the ups and downs of this season, and I know you have bigger goals in mind, but the team ensured a 500 finish, back-to-back years doing that. I mean,
it's a big deal.
Right, given everything that this team has gone through this year, and the fact that you guys, I think, are one win away from securing a playoff spot, like, what did it take to kind of stay the course, and what does that mean to just at least get that one thing kind of checked off?
It's definitely a stepping stone in the right direction. I think considering where this organization has been and some of the great players that's come through it, we got to look at this, like I said, for a winning moment tonight. It doesn't happen a lot, and where we've been at, you guys know what it's been like the last couple of years here, and so to see the tables kind of turn, it works in our favor, and I think that we deserve it from a standpoint of we put the work in to be here, and so I like to think that you guys gonna keep sticking it with us too, because you guys deserve it. In order to capture good content and all that, you got to win, and so I think it goes together as far as both sides, but I think it's definitely important for us to kind of bask in it for a little bit, because I remember where this group was.
Be honest, Kelsey is a scorer. She's one of the league's most reliable offensive weapons, but points don't automatically make you a leader. True leadership is about recognizing the bigger picture. When you say, "we all we need," right after your teammate goes down, it sounds less like unity and more like dismissal, and that's where the immediate backlash comes in, because the fans aren't going to ignore it. The Fever's rise has everything to do with Caitlin Clark, whether Mitchell likes it or not. The TV ratings. That's Clark, the sold-out games. Clark, the jersey sales. Clark, Kelsey can put up 28 points and go unnoticed until someone posts the box score. Clark drops 15 with a couple of highlight threes, and it's viral within minutes. That's not diminishing Mitchell's ability, it's simply reality. But instead of embracing that reality and leveraging it, Mitchell's remarks came across as bitterness. Fans heard her mantra and assumed she didn't value Clark's impact. That's dangerous, because the moment people think you're jealous of your teammate, the storyline writes itself. Sophie Cunningham knows all about how narratives form. She's been painted as the villain of the WNBA. Anytime a physical play happens, Sophie's name trends. She's been labeled dirty, cocky, and everything in between. But here's the thing, she doesn't shy away from it. She knows exactly who she is, and she owns that role. And now, since Mitchell's words echo that same dismissive tone, fans are dragging Sophie's name into the conversation. The sad truth is that the Fever need both Clark and Mitchell to coexist if they want to succeed. This isn't a matter of who scores more points or who gets the most attention. It's about balance. Mitchell's scoring combined with Clark's playmaking could be a dangerous duo. But every time shade is thrown, directly or indirectly, that chemistry gets harder to build. And let's be real, Sophie Cunningham would probably laugh her way through this whole situation. She's been there before. She's watched how shade from teammates or headlines spun by fans can escalate. Sophie thrives in that chaos. Mitchell doesn't. She looks uneasy when the spotlight turns negative. And now, thanks to the we need mantra, she's stuck in it. Here's the reality check. The Fever didn't exactly dominate when Clark was sidelined. They scraped together wins, but when your rally cry is, "we don't need her," you'd better back it up with dominance. Instead, they were inconsistent. That makes Mitchell's words look even worse. If you claim the team doesn't need Clark, then prove it by winning big. Otherwise, you're just handing fuel to the critics. The irony is almost comical. The very players who scoff at Clark's spotlight don't seem to realize how much they gain from it. Without Clark, nobody would even be talking about Mitchell's comments, but with Clark's presence, everything gets magnified. That's the cost of fame. If you're her teammate, you live under that same light. And here's where the regret really sets in. Mitchell never expected fans to turn against her over a routine locker room phrase. But once people linked it to Clark's injury, the interpretation shifted completely. Suddenly, she wasn't the leader motivating her team, she was the veteran, brushing off the star who made the Fever a phenomenon. That's not a flattering image. Add Sophie Cunningham to the conversation, and it becomes even messier. Sophie's entire career has been defined by dealing with disrespect and proving critics wrong. Now fans are saying, look, Mitchell is treating Clark the way others have treated Sophie. That's not the comparison you want if your goal is to look like a leader. The truth is straightforward. Mitchell doesn't have to love Caitlin Clark. She doesn't need to be her best friend. But she does need to respect what Clark represents for the franchise, because without Clark, the Fever are just another small market team struggling for relevance. With Clark, they're a national headline, and Sophie Cunningham,